Hi everyone, this is Vegeta from Vegeta's Baking Academy, and today is Operation 16 Bean Soup Day. So I hope everyone is doing well. If you are in the eastern part of the country, we have been inundated with snow. Bunches and bunches of snowflakes that has formed a snowstorm. Well, I don't know about you guys, but growing up when I was younger, it just felt like in the wintertime, in the cold, that those were the best times for a stew, a soup, a one pot dinner. So I thought about what would be a good meal for today. So I said, I'm staying home today. I want to be safe out of the street. I went out there yesterday, and let me tell y'all, it was treacherous out there. But I got home safe, and everyone I know is doing well. But we haven't had a snowstorm like this in upwards of 5 years. So, anywho, I decided to make 16 bean soup stew. What I've done already is I have the beans on the stove. They've been boiling. These are fresh beans, guys. So they've been boiling for the most of the day. I just got up this morning and did that. And now they're almost at the point where I'm ready to add my herbs and different spices. But let me just show you the beans. Okay. Hey Carol, how you doing? So I decided today we're going to focus on the mise en place and what that looks like. And hopefully you know my voice. It's me. But I just really want to focus on the actual preparation. How do you add the different herbs and such to make the pot just really sing? And I have a combination that I use in a lot of my soups and stews. For this particular recipe, this is a bean soup. It's a 16 bean soup, and sometimes I'll add a few more. And it's so I may have upwards of 18 beans of variety in the pot. Now, what I do once the beans are nice and tender, and if I can't see your comments right now, it's only because I have my equipment focused on the prep work, so I can't see any comments. But just know that I'm glad that you're here with me today, spending time in Regina's Baking Academy. So back to the mise en place, right? I wait until the beans are almost ready. They're not. They're about maybe a good 45 minutes from an hour to being ready. So that's when I like to do the prep. So what I do is I have scallions. I use scallions. I love the way they smell. I like the color from dark green to the light white. You go all the way down. So I love using it in my preparation. I have a green pepper, red pepper, and an orange pepper. And I like to use them for contrast of color, but they also have a different taste profile. Each of them tastes a little different, and it adds a really nice flavor. And then I use a regular onion, and then I'm using cilantro today. Now, sometimes I use culantro, which is a more thicker leaf. And so today I switched up and I decided that I'm going to use the cilantro and not the culantro. It's actually two different types. And guys, I'm going to actually add, I used this carrot on Sunday when I made Sunday dinner. I made a cabbage And so I used half of this. So I'm actually going to use this today because it's going to add a different bite and heartiness to the bean soup. So that's what I'm doing with this today. So this is a new addition, guys. I usually do the peppers, the scallions, Vidalia onion, culantro or cilantro, and then I season it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to shave this right here. This I use for a lot of stuff. It's really good. I'm just going to shave down the carrot, and then I'm going to cut it in cubes, but not big cubes because I actually wanted to saute down. So let me not get ahead of myself. First thing I'm going to do is prep all my veggies, and I'm going to chop them up and make them nice and tiny, but not too small. I'm going to show you what I mean, okay? But it's really important to make sure you have your mise en place. So after I put the beans on this morning, I took out all of the herbs and such that I would need for this recipe. But before I even did that, guys, I had to go to the supermarket on Sunday night, to make sure I had everything I needed. So that's what I did. Now, you got to be careful when you're cutting because you do not want to hurt yourself. So try to knuckles up. That's one of the rules in the kitchen. Okay? Now, doing it like this first because then I'm going to make them smaller. Because I have a friend of mine, a really good friend. He's not a carrot fan. And I can understand it if you just kind of throw the carrots in there. But I like to coax the flavor. So what I'm going to do with all of the veggies, once I put them all together, is I'm going to saute it in olive oil with some seasonings in the pan, with some Italian seasonings and that sort of thing. So that's going to let the carrot's natural flavor come up with some of that sweetness. And it's going to add a nice complement to what I already use in my veggies. I know I don't usually do stock. That's why I don't save the ends, guys. It's not a bad idea to save the ends if you make your own vegetable stock and such. But I usually don't, so I don't want to tell a story. Most of the time when you come to see me, I'm baking. But every now and again, I'm cooking. I'm cooking all the time. But today we're doing the herbs that I add to my 16 bean soup. So today is Operation 16 bean soup day. So I just wanted to peel that, rinse it off. Let me tell you, just all of this together is such a yummy, yummy combination. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm just going to slice the carrots. It also helps them, get nice and tender in the pan, because I want them to really, the sweetness to come out. And then when it mixes in and pairs together with the other veggies and herbs, it's just really such a yumminess in the pot. Yumminess. Okay? So I hope everyone is doing well wherever you are, whatever time of day, if it's the morning, afternoon, or even if it's evening. Hope you're having a good day, and if you're in a cold part of the country, I hope you're safe and okay. Some people have suffered outages, power outages and that sort of thing. We're fortunate that that did not happen here, but certain parts of New York did get hit harder. In certain parts further out, we had about maybe 16 inches, in the city area proper, but further out, there's up to 18 inches, 20 inches. I'm like, wow. So this is a nice day to have pots on the stove, cooking up a nice hearty meal. Now, I'm a little country, so when I made dinner on Sunday, I also made some cornbread. So I don't have to make cornbread. I was gonna do biscuits, but that's a lot of starch. So I may come back and do some biscuits one day this week. We'll see. Right now, I'm doing the prep for 16 bean soup, guys. This is one of my favorite soups. It's the 16 bean soup. I'm telling you. I can eat that all by itself. But for folks that like to have rice, you can make a pot of rice. And there you go. And also, you know, again, I'll tell y'all, I'm city born and country raised, right? So I have a side of neck bones over there too. But I do not put the meat in the beans because I like the beans by themselves. I don't need to have the meat. But my husband, and just in case I get someone to come over and visit, they can have a little meat. So I just got a little bit of neck bones on the stove. But now growing up, neck bones was used as seasoning in your stews, your veggies and stuff like that. But I prefer not to do that, guys. I like the freshness of the vegetables to stand out and be the star of the show when I'm cooking. And the meat, they could stand on their own. Okay, so I'm just chopping this up. It's a rough cut. There's no particular way you have to cut it, but you want the pieces small enough. Hopefully you see this. Let me just check and make sure you can see this. Can you see that? Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So you want them small enough so that when you put them all together, you put all the ingredients together, you saute it down and it's nice and tender. It still has to cook a little bit in the pot with the beans, but you want the flavor to come out. So my whole thing right now is to cut it up nice and small enough so that the flavor comes out when it's mixed in with that olive oil. Now this is an extra step I'm taking, doing the carrots. Like I said, sometimes people just put them in their stews or soups, but I think the carrots get a raw deal. Haha. And I think it's important to appreciate this beautiful veggie. I love carrots. I really do. If I wasn't greedy, if I was being greedy, I'd take a piece of this and just eat it like it is. So, I'm so excited. So after I add these carrots, then I'm going to cut up my peppers, my cilantro. Now I'm going to add all of that. Just so you know, when you add cilantro, it has a much stronger scent. It has a much stronger flavor profile. And it's delicious, and I really enjoy both of them. I wouldn't use cilantro and cilantro together because I wanted to overpower the other herbs and veggies that are going in the pot. But individually, combined with all of what we have right here, it's a great complement to each other. Remember, guys, be careful with your fingers. Okay, safety first. Trying my very best to keep the knuckles out because just in case you don't want to hurt yourself. So try to practice a little bit of that. Let me see if I want these a little smaller. Not necessarily. The thing is, I'm trying to add the carrots without really showing them, That's another reason why I want to get that nice sweetness to come out the carrot, because then it just adds another flavor, and it just all together is going to be such a yummy, delicious pot. Okay, so that was cool. Now I'm going to do my onion. So the trick, guys, when you cut your onion is to cut off a little piece on the side, right? So that way it's easier to cut it when you get ready to do that part. So I want to kind of do a small dice on the carrot, on the onion. So I prep it first before I start cutting. Just cut it. Real simple. Make it easy on yourself. And remember, all of these veggies are going to saute in olive oil, so it's going to be really, really yummy. Oh my goodness. Olive oil just takes your stuff to a whole nother level. I mean, I could use like canola oil or something like that, but olive oil, when you saute your veggies, it's so good. Okay, you see how that is? I gotta remember to put the knuckles out. Look at that, y'all. See? Now, you see how the knife went back? I'm okay. But if my fingers weren't there, I could have got cut. So, safety first. Always safety first. Alright. So, you see how that went? Just put that right in there. And I'm using the whole onion because onions just as I love onions. They just add such a lovely flavor to your pots. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is just cut around the side. And I try not to waste any of the onion. I try to use as much of it as possible because it's such a great veggie and it has such a lovely flavor combined with the olive oil. It's just delicious, guys. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm just gonna do a little coarse chop. I don't want them too big because I want them to caramelize nice in the olive oil, and I want all of these spices in the veggies and herbs to come together nicely. So just take your time. I'll tell you guys, on a day like today, it's okay to be in the kitchen and have it a little hot, especially when it's cold outside, below 30 degrees, y'all. This is the best place to be. It's in the kitchen. Or you could be reading a good book, you know. But yeah, I pulled out today. I just wanted to be safe. Since I'm home, why not make something that I know we all enjoy? Okay. Alright, that looks good. There we go. You see how it's coming together? Let me try to set it apart so you can see the pretty. You see the pretty colors. Let me show you. Okay. You see that, guys? You see the green and the white and the orange? And that's just from the scallions, the carrots, and the onion. You haven't seen the rest yet. Now, when I do the culantro, I'm just going to cut off the tips of the ends because they look a little dirty. So I'm just going to cut them off. You don't want that in your food. I've already rinsed them, as well as the green peppers. So I'm just going to tip a little bit more. Because that's the part that you don't want to use up. And I use the stems as long as they're clean. It's part of the, that smell that just came out of there when I chopped that off, you don't understand. It smells so good. Okay, I just want to make sure all the ends are good. All right, good. So I'm just going to start chopping from here. Like I said, I'm using all of it. They want to be stubborn. It's okay. If I had smell-o-vision, you would be like, oh my goodness, Regina, it smells so good. Okay. So we're gonna put this in here. And we're getting ready to go in now. Now with the cilantro, I'm just gonna give it like a rough chop. And I'm using all of it. Remember, I said it's not as strong as the culantro. So using all of this is just perfect. Then just cut it up some more. I think I like to cut it because every time I do, it releases the smells. And it smells so good. Alright, I'm pushing my bowl. I do not want to do that. I want all those yummy herbs and veggies to be in one place, and that's the pan. Okay. So I'm just doing a rough chop. Being mindful. I put my knuckles out because I'm over here playing with these leaves and stuff. Look at that. Look at that. Look how. So the leaves are. I'm going to bunch them up. Probably what I could have done, guys, is do half at a time, and then I would have got more of a finer chop. But it's okay. And what we're going to do, keep it moving. You know why? Because it's all going to the same lovely place. Look at that. That's a world of yumminess, y'all. Thank God for herbs. Now we'll just take these off the stem. Even though they're going to saute down in the pan. Just a little pre-work, So how's everyone doing? Y'all okay? What you been up to? We're in February already. It's Black History Month, President's Day. How's everyone? Okay? You good? What you up to? And better than that, what is one of your favorite dishes if you live in a cold part of the country? What's a favorite soup or meal that you like? And if you're not in a cold part of the country, what's like a one-pot meal that you enjoy? If you're seeing this live, you can put it in the comments. And if you see it in a replay, interruption, guys. Okay. So just splitting my peppers. Now what I'm going to do, just to be safe, because I don't want to cry on the live if my veggies fall, I'm just going to put them on the other side right now. Oh, shucks. No, we don't want any accidents in this production. Oh, goodness. So, yes, the red, the green, and the orange peppers. Not only are they pretty, I love the different color combos coming together. But they each have their own little distinct flavor. And combined together with everything, it's really good, y'all. Really good. I'm trying to think. My grandma used bell peppers all the time. I call these bell peppers. So she used those all the time. I never really saw her use the red or the orange ones. But I decided to add it to my pots when I got older and started cooking, because I wanted to see what they tasted like. They taste all right, instead of going back and forth to the brush. Just use this bag right here, save me time. Those beans are cooking, y'all. Doing a good job. So what you want to do is like quarter inside of your peppers. You don't want the seeds, so I'm taking out the seeds and that stuff. You don't want that inside. Okay, so I'm just cutting that out right now. Okay, so after I do them all, then I'm just going to rinse them out. Little rinse, no big deal. Now, if I had a stem, I don't think most of them had the stem. I think if I'd had the stem, I would have twisted it out and then just, cord out the rest. Let's see. Oh man, this smells good. That red one smells really good. But the red and orange and the green, they each have a distinct smell, a distinct flavor. And I didn't think they did. I was like, maybe they just look nice, but they do. I'm trying not to just go ahead and bite, take one of each. I may do that anyway after I cut them up. Okay. So you just want to clean it out. Now I'm just going to rinse them all off. Just to take the seeds out. I tell you, if you can, do it. I know people are very busy. You got family, you got kids' responsibilities, and if you don't have children, you got work and what that's about. But if you can, do your own vegetables when you're making stuff, it makes a difference. I try to add vegetables to my menu every day. But when you're making pots and stews and stuff, definitely. I know people use celery, carrots, onions. Well, not carrots. It's celery, onions, and peppers a lot. I like to use other stuff. So for this, I'm not using celery. No celery. Definitely no celery. I've never used celery in my bean soup. I've used it when I make chicken stew and other stews, but not for my bean soup. So right now I'm just going to cut them and then chop them up once I cut them all strips. I may not have a proper name for it, so it's okay. But I know what I'm doing. Let me see. Is everybody okay out there? I hope you're doing good. I gotta stir these beans. Just gonna stir them so nothing is sticking. So give me 1 second, please. Oh yeah. And being that the beans are cooked fresh, I rinsed them off this morning and I just let them cook down. And my sister blessed me with this beautiful Dutch oven. So I said I'm going to break it in today and make things. So that's what I'm doing, guys. And with your beans, you have to add liquid to them. So that's what I'm doing. I add the water as it keeps cooking down. And then just come back to what I'm doing. I got the news on. It's kind of like background noise. I'm not really listening to it. But sometimes I hear something and be like, oh, okay. What do y'all do when you're cooking in the kitchen? I really like to turn music on. I love music. I love music. But sometimes I don't want to get caught up in the song. I want to focus on what I'm doing, so I turn off the music. Sometimes I'll hear a song I really like, and then I just want to dance. At least for half a minute. Then it's like, all right, back to business. Okay. So I'm not cutting them up, as you can see. It's whichever pepper I get my hands on. There's no particular order. They're all going into the pan at the same time. So, yeah. No worries on that. I didn't do the trick that my Ruby taught me. One of my church elders at Walker Memorial, she said, when you're cooking and you're using something like a cutting board and it's sliding back and forth, you put a washcloth underneath, a little damp cloth, and it helps to keep, she's right, it helps keep your cutting board from moving around. Just right there. See that? No more moving. Thanks, Mom Ruby. I love her. She's awesome. Let's see here. This is the part that may be a little tedious, but it's well worth it. And it takes maybe a half an hour. I'm just going to tell the truth. It takes about a half an hour. But guess what? You got the beans on. They're cooking. So you could do a few things between the preparation for your veggies, right? So if you know you're making a bean soup, you just prepare. Or you could also use a chopper. That saves time. Like if you're just not in the mood, but you want it and you know it's going to be delicious, get a food chopper. But I think I have one. If I got to think too hard, then maybe I don't. But they do come in handy. I know at my church we prepare a lot of food. We haven't done it since COVID, but when we had different events, we always cook, right? And we always use veggies, and we guaranteed that we were going to use some green peppers, some bell peppers, some onions, and celery. So another one of my members that serve on the culinary ministry, Miss Buckman, she was like in charge of the meat supplies for the veggies. So she had that food chopper, and sometimes she would mince it up depending on what we're putting it in, like if we're seasoning chicken or putting it in a potato salad or something like that. And she would just have it done up, because we don't have time like that when you're preparing for a lot of people. But when you're home, if you don't mind, just use your knife. I will say sometimes I do think I want to use a food chopper because it's just easier, you know. But I like to show you what I'm doing, and I just think it's okay if you don't have a food chopper. What you're gonna do? Not do it? That's bananas, guys. You're gonna find a way to get it done, right? So you notice with the peppers, I'm not cutting them like so small, because when they saute and caramelize in the olive oil, they're gonna shrink a little. So they don't have to be like tiny. And then they're gonna cook some more in the beans once I put it all together. So I cut them small enough, like this is like the average size, and it's okay. I kind of sneak them in there, especially when the kids were younger, and I would make the bean soup. I would cut them up a little smaller because they enjoyed the taste. They didn't realize I put a bunch of veggies in there still. But I wanted them to be healthy, you know, so to keep them healthy. So I would cut them up extra, a little smaller, so they didn't notice it. But they really enjoy how they taste. Like if my sons or my daughter, any one of them would come over, my daughters and my son, and I tell them I have bean soup, they'd be like, "Oh, I want some of that." And it wouldn't bother them that I have like veggies and herbs in there, as long as it tastes good. So it's all about the flavor, y'all. The combination. Okay. So let me just make sure I'm doing it right. See, I caught one. I caught a red one trying to get out. All right. Yep. What am I doing on a day off? I'm cooking. Because, hey, I figured like this. I go into work tomorrow, and I'm going to be taking bean soup for lunch every day. And it's healthy, it's yummy, it's delicious. I can eat it by itself. I can eat it with a little bit of rice and a little piece of cornbread, and I'm satisfied. And it's a good meal. Got all the stuff you need right there. I'm city born and country raised. I am a country girl at heart, y'all. I love my vegetables and my herbs and spices. Don't have to have a lot, but it's what you do with what you have. So right now I'm just going to go through it and chop it a little bit more. See that? Oh my goodness. Okay. Now I'm going to add this to my bowl. You see how it's getting more and more pretty, y'all? With all this lovely color? All those flavors are going to mix in together and just make a lovely, lovely mix, y'all. I'm so excited. So excited. Okay. I thank y'all for coming today, checking me out. I'm usually baking something, but today's a little different. I also made, I have to laugh because I think it was the day or two after Thanksgiving, I actually made a turkey stew. Turkey soup. It wasn't a stew. It wasn't quite a stew. It was more of a soup. And that was the first time I did that. And it was because I had more turkey left over than I usually do. So instead of it going to waste, I took the legs, and I think I had some wing beef and thigh, and I just made some turkey soup. It was good too. All right, I gotta add a little more water to the neck bones. Be right with me. So now when I make neck bones, I'm going to tell you, I boil them first, then I pull out the stuff that come on top. That's the icky stuff. Nobody want to eat that. So I rinse them off, and then I put a fresh pot of water, then I add my seasonings to them. That's how I make the neck bones. Turn that off. So, right now I'm almost down to it, y'all. Once I cut up the peppers, then I'm going to saute them in olive oil and add my seasonings. I like to use Italian seasoning, adobo complete, pepper. I don't really need to use salt because the adobo complete has enough in it. Plus I add a little bit to the pot, to the bean soup, so I don't want to over salt the veggies. Okay. Just gotta cut that off a little bit. Actually, this is the knife that, if I was really coring the vegetables, the knife should be a little smaller. I have a smaller knife, but this knife is pretty good. So I just like to slice them all at one time, so I'm not doing it like 2 or 3 times. It doesn't matter your preference. It's whatever you know. Some people will do the red, the green, and the orange individually. But it just saves me a little more time to do it this way. Let's see a couple of seeds in there. And I don't want any seeds in the pot. Okay. coming together. Yeah, it's coming together. I need that pot of Nick wants to boil a little bit more. Then I'm going to pour it off. But you see what's happening, right? The beans are getting nice and tender, as they should. And then, when they're about 20 minutes away from being ready, I'm going to add this beautiful medley of herbs and veggies in the pot. And it's just going to add another level of flavor. Then the other thing I add is I put a can of tomato sauce in the beans. If it's a lot of beans, I put 2. I may wind up putting 2 cans in there. Now, I will say the better way to cut these peppers, I think, is with the skin down, not the flesh up, because you can cut right through the skin when it's down or on the side. So that's what I'm doing. And that's also a good idea if you're cutting a little bit at a time. You see how they're coming together? It's really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put a green pepper, a red, and a piece of the orange on the side. Just taste it. Eat it by itself. You know, this is used for crudité, right? When you have company over, you slice up your peppers and your carrots and stuff and get you some dip. You know, we have a big game coming up this Sunday. What's that? The Super Bowl. And we have maybe a few people over, not a lot. You know, this is healthy. People don't realize that they're dipping it in that ranch dressing and you're giving them veggies. How cool is that? Of course, you're probably going to have whatever you have at the, you know, what you cook. I was thinking about making a baked ziti, a small one. My father says I cook a lot. I don't know about that, but he may be right. Just look at these colors, y'all. Look at these pretty colors. Look at that. You see that? The red, the orange. 2 types of orange. We got the carrots and we have the orange pepper. Then we got the green scallions, the bell pepper, the cilantro. So, I'm only going to take a few at a time. It may look like I could do it all at one time, but actually it's more efficient to do a few well than to have to go back and forth and try to find the pieces you missed. So I'm just going to do a few at a time. I think when I make a pot this big, I may use the chopper next time. I'm not tired though. I'm just excited. The best part of doing this is when it's done and all the flavors are in there and you know in like less than a half an hour you're going to have some. That's like the best part. And then what I'm going to do is take out the cornbread from Sunday, because we didn't eat a lot, just maybe a little piece, and to heat some of that up. And that's going to be a nice, hearty, and pretty decent meal, you know. Sometimes I have meatless days where we just do veggies or do the beans and rice with a little sour cream, a little shredded cheddar on top. It's really good, you know. Growing up, I always remember my grandma would make beef stew, chicken stew, beans, all kinds of beans. You don't even, large lima pinto, baby limas, navy beans, black eyed peas, kidney beans, and then she would make chili, and she made that from scratch. No, did she make it from scratch? I don't remember. As a matter of fact, Grandma didn't do the chili. My uncle did. He made the chili with 3 kinds of beans. It's pretty good too. So I remember having stuff like this growing up. So I figured, why not do it for my kids when they were growing up, cook. It was like second nature. They needed to eat. And my grandma used to always say, if you want to eat, you better learn how to cook. So they could cook for themselves. And my husband, he knew how to cook, but I enjoy cooking. He could cook too. So now I'm just going to coarse chop this, guys. We are finished with this part. Okay. You bring that beautiful bowl of yumminess. Do you see all of this, y'all? Oh my goodness. That's gonna be so good. So good. I'm excited. Get ready to turn the pan on. Okay. Okay, so now we've completed this part. Now, if I was doing like a YouTube video, I would have fast-tracked it, showed y'all like the before and after. But the fun part about doing stuff live is you get an appreciation for what it takes to do something, right? Sometimes you could think about, oh, I like that, but I could do it like this, or I could do a shortcut, you know, the shortcut using a food chopper. Or sometimes people buy these vegetables already done. It's a name for it, and I forget the name. And maybe because I don't use it, that's why I don't remember the name. All right, so that's done. Just put this over here for now. Okay, guys. So now what I'm going to do. You see all that loveliness right there? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Hey, Shauna. I'm doing a 16-bean soup. So that's my mise en place for that. And that's consisting of red, green, and orange peppers. Cilantro, not culantro, cilantro. Scallions, a Vidalia onion. And I think that's, oh yeah, and I added a little carrot. And the reason why I added the carrot is because I love them. And they don't always get a good rap when you put them in soups and stews. So what I decided to do is to start incorporating more carrots in my stews and such, but to saute them down. So I'm going to saute down the mise en place right after I rinse off these neck bones. Yes, I said it, I'm rinsing off neck bones. I'm country and I'm not apologizing for it. So I'm rinsing them off. It's easier. Heat it up, and all the stuff that you don't want in it comes to the top. And now I'll season it. First I have to get all that icky stuff out because you're not eating it. After I do this, I'm going to saute those lovely veggies and herbs over there. Okay. Now I get back on the stove. I'm going to take down my spices I'm going to use, which includes Italian seasoning, sazon complete, black pepper. I'm not going to use rice. salt because I already have salt in the complete, so I don't want to overdo it. I'm gonna put a little sage in there. Oh yes, and I have to put the sesame. So I got the pepper, sage, and there's Sazon Tropical, not the complete. So now I'm gonna have to turn y'all around. So I'm gonna have to turn y'all around so you can see what I'm doing on the other side. Okay? All right. Let me see if y'all can see it. Let me just set it up. Let's see. I just want to make sure y'all get this view. So I'm gonna rearrange the stove just for you guys. I'm gonna rearrange my pots, okay? Because I want y'all to get the up close. And I'm using this cast iron beautiful Dutch oven that my sister bought for me just because. She was like, I love you, and there you go. And I was like, okay, I love you too, and thank you. I'm going to use it. So this is also, and thinking about how blessed I am for her to just consider me and get me that. She didn't have to because she know I got pots. But, and she also got the color I love. I love plum purple blues. Those are like my colors. So now I'm turning on the stove. We getting ready to do it, y'all. Turn on the stove. Put the olive oil in the pan. I do just enough to coat it, you know. And I use olive oil often, like often. I'm also trying out grapeseed oil to see how that works too. But the olive oil just imparts such a nice flavor to the anything you're doing, whether you're sauteing meats or poultry or your veggies. It's just a nice flavor. I love it. So I use it often, and it's healthy. It's actually good healthy, but you got to be careful not to burn the olive oil because it has a low heat resistance. So all right, so I'm using about 2 packs of the Sazon. But first, I saute the veggies and let the natural flavors come up before I add any of this. Wait a minute. So before I add this yummy stuff right here, I'm going to let this come up a little bit more. I gotta turn it low. I had it a little high. I don't want it high because I don't want the vegetables to burn and the spices, the herbs, right? So I'm gonna give y'all this profile just so you can appreciate it. And I'm gonna go get something to help me keep my phone on. I'll be right back. Y'all all right? Hey, every day I love you just a little bit more. Okay, now we get ready to get in here. We're going to get in this pan down, okay? Just put this phone. All right. Let me get the spatula I like to use. This is a non-stick pan. I'm going to use this spatula so I don't burn anything. All right, guys. We're getting ready. I wish I could smell what it's going to be cooking in here, but I promise you, you'll see it. Okay. All right, so the way I'm going to do this is put a little piece in there to see what happens. You hear that? Listen for it. You hear the sizzle? I got the pepper in there. You see that? You hear that? It's ready, y'all. So let's do this. Mmm. Yummy. And all of this goes in the pot. All of it. Okay. Okay now. So are you with me now? You with me? Okay, good. You see all of that yumminess together? All right. I'll turn these beans down just a pinch. Yes. Okay. So now, what I'm doing is just mixing it all together. I may have to add a little more olive oil, but that's okay. No harm in that. But do you see all this beauty together here? Do you see it? Can you see why I love, love, love? Like this is one of the best parts of this thing. Because the smells that come out, that cilantro, and the onions and the scallions, oh my goodness. And the three types of peppers, guys. It's a little bit of work, but it's worth it. It's well worth it. What do y'all think? Hmm? Okay, I'm gonna turn it up, not just a pinch. So now what I could have done is add the carrots first, right? And then add the rest of the veggies because the carrots are the denser, it's the densest veggie out of everything in here. But remember, they're going to cook together with the beans, so they're going to get nice and tender. My goal for the carrots is to coax out the natural sweetness of it and just to let it get a little tender, let it get that olive oil on it. So in about a few minutes, it's going to caramelize. Some of the stuff is going to start caramelizing, the scallions and the onions and the peppers to start to reduce. That's going to take a little bit. But I'm telling you, all of it is worth it. All of it. All of it. And I do this every time. Now, carrots is a new addition. It's a new addition, I'll tell you the truth. But I know it's a good addition. So that's what I did. Thank you. So, yeah, we got, so let me see. Let me run that back. We have the red pepper, green pepper, yellow pepper. Then we have the scallion, the onion, and the cilantro, and the carrots. What a powerful combination. Yummy, yummy all day. I thought about this on Sunday. Isn't that something? You're thinking about cooking. What are you going to cook? I need to be thinking about what I'm going to write. I got stuff to write. Okay, it's starting to bubble up a little bit, which is good. Mm. Oh my goodness. The smells are so good, y'all. And the cool part about it is when you make your vegetables fresh, even though you buy them from the supermarket, you have an appreciation for them. It's a little dirt on them. It makes you realize that they had to grow. Someone had to plant the seeds for these things to grow. They didn't end up in the supermarket just, magic. So that's another reason why I like to use fresh veggies, because you get to appreciate the fact that someone grew these. Farmers grew them, or, someone grew these vegetables so that we can have them, and they had to pick them and pack them and send them to the supermarket or to the wholesale, right? So that's why I like to stay connected to that. And they're so much better. I'm not going to say I don't use frozen, like maybe frozen corn or spinach. I do. But for the most part, it's nothing like fresh. Mm. I smell it again. It smells good. So it's just right now. It's juices are coming out. The juices from the veggies mixing it with the olive oil, and that's a good thing. Because we don't want it to burn, right? That's important. Okay, so if y'all want to hang in there, you can. I know it's a process, and it's taking a little time to do it, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use this spatula. I like this one way better. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this one is a little better. That one is more sturdy, but this one has a shorter mouth. I don't want my stuff coming out the pan. I'm going to add a little more olive oil because I have so many veggies. I want the olive oil in there too. I just like the smell of it. It's like when I'm making a Swiss butter cream and it all starts coming together. I'm going to add a little more olive oil. Okay. All right now. Just a little bit. Try not to put it directly on the veggie, like around it, you know. There you go. There you go. So in another minute or so, I'm going to start adding seasonings to it. But I just wanted to caramelize a little bit more in its own natural flavor before I add the seasonings to it. Let me tell y'all something. This is going to be so good. I'm not really feeling these spatulas. They're not doing it for me. I need a spoon. Or, Shauna knows I'm a spatula queen. I love spatulas, so I'm going to have to take out one of my babies. That's right. I brought her out. This right here, she don't play games. You see what I'm saying? Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, if you notice, it's starting to steam down a little bit. It's starting to caramelize, so that means there's going to be some shrinkage. And that's okay. That's actually what I want. So now that I started smelling the veggies, you know, the flavors are coming together. Now I'm going to add the Italian seasoning. So I'm going to add some of that. Did I take out my Italian seasoning? I Let me find out did not take out my Italian seasoning. No, I took out the hot pepper and not the Italian seasoning. So, do a sprinkle. Okay. My tropical sazon. There you go. If I had to eyeball it, I'd say maybe a half a tablespoon, but no, that's not even a half a tablespoon. That's just barely a teaspoon. Okay, I'm gonna add a little sage. And a little more tropical sauce. Now, 2 packs of sazon. Just 2 packs. Let the flavors marry together. Get nice and comfortable with each other. You want to mix it all in there. You want to, you don't want to leave anybody out. We all at this thing together. So all the vegetables got to get the flavors. So the one sitting on the outside of the pan, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. You get in there too. All right now. Okay, can y'all see all of this goodness coming together? You just taking your time, being patient. Sometimes being in the kitchen for me is like therapy. The food doesn't get upset with you if you forgot to take out the Italian seasoning, but remember it after you've said it out loud. No attitude. It's just you and your food and appreciating what it is that you have. Okay, turn it down a little bit. Because remember, I want the flavors to come out and I'm adding it to the pot. First I'm going to test the beans to make sure they're at that point of readiness. Okay. Just want to make sure they're tender enough so I can add. Oh my goodness, y'all. That smells so good. I know it felt like a little bit of my face in it, but that's how close I get. Okay. All right. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to test some of the beans to see if they're tender. If they're tender but not soft. And I usually test the beans that take the longest to cook, like the black bean and the red beans. Those are like the harder ones to cook. Okay. Don't go in the pot. Don't you see I'm trying to find out what's going on? Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. We're getting there. Let's see. Okay, 4.3. Yeah. Yes. to add all this good stuff is going in this pot. Yes, it is. It's ready. It's ready, guys. You see this cabbage trying to hang out on the outside? They don't understand. The party's in the pot, not on the burner. See, that's how carrots act when you're invited to the party the first time, y'all. It'll know better next time. They'll all go in together. Now that's a pot. Okay. Okay. I know you're not trying to act up. Okay, y'all. I'm going to show you. Because you won't believe me. I'll tell you how pretty it looked. You want to see it. Okay. Y'all ready to see it? I'm going to take you. Look at that. Okay. That's the pot. That's the pot right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that simmer for a good half an hour. And I'm going to add the tomato too. I'm going to add the tomato sauce. Okay. So that is, oh, I'm sorry guys. So hi. So that is how I make 16 bean soup. I just want to take y'all with me today. I'm doing a little something different, you know. And yeah, when it's finished, I'll bring you back. I'm going to show you the complete bowl with the cornbread on the side and the rice. That's optional. So I hope everyone is doing well today. This is Regina from Regina's Baking Academy, where we know that baking is cool, but cooking is always the bomb. Like, it's always good to be in your kitchen. And it's not hard. It's just, you just got to be patient with the process. And that's with anything, like with anything. So as I like to say, bye for now. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with each other. Be patient with the process. Now, usually I say be patient with the process. Be patient with yourself and be patient with each other. But in this situation, I said process last because sometimes you want to do a thing, but you're like, oh my goodness, it's going to be too much. It's not. You just got to be patient with the process. Okay? So bye for now. I will be coming back later on to show you guys the complete product. All right? So take care. Have an amazing, awesome, awesome day. Bye-bye.